Tilder! What is this? This is the Tamron 25-200. How much does it cost? Approximately $900. You can choose between a linear or velocity focus ring. You can even choose how much focus travel you want. You get amazing minimum focus. Does it breathe like a horse? Nope. Nada. Zilch. Is this a good lens for video? Yes, except for dimly lit live events. Is it good for photography? This is a filmmaking channel. Get the f out of here. But yes, good for photography that does not require super fast shutter speeds. Why is this lens replacing my Tamron 35-150? Watch the video. Done. Roll that intro. What's going on, everybody? Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker here, where the answer comes first, the reason comes last, but we're constantly and always still learning. That's right, we're going back to the original format because YouTube's algorithm can go suck a fat one. That being said, if you want to support the channel, please use my purchase links down below. So today we're looking at my new oddly favorite lens, which is the Tamron 25-200. I've enjoyed this lens so much that I'm actually going to be getting rid of my more expensive Tamron 35-150, and here are the reasons why. The 35-150 is by no means a terrible lens. It's got a wide aperture of 2.0 to 2.8. Its focal range is pretty versatile for many things, but it is heavy and it's a big boy. It's so big that I can't fit it into my Pelican case without it pushing into the lid cushion, which I have to do because of all the gear that I need for my video jobs to fit into one Pelican case. For reference, the types of video work I do these days is for internal corporate talking heads, following the executives around as they roam on the manufacturing floor, live events, and of course, YouTube. When this 35-150 is on a tripod, it sings like a dream. But when I have to go handheld for the type of work that I do, that's when it starts to feel less dreamy. The first problem is that the lens is very heavy, causing your overall camera balance to be falling forward. While it doesn't seem like much, it does start to wear on your wrist over time. You might be thinking, well, just put a V-mount battery on the back and it'll counter it. That does help, but now you are carrying even more weight as you walk around. Then use an easy rig, you say. Well, that becomes a problem when you're going through an industrial manufacturing plant where there are lots of things poking out, chemicals, industrial machinery. You don't want to be bulking up too much as you're maneuvering through those areas. And also, when you're trying to get genuine interactions between executives and workers, you coming in suited up, they're gonna look at you and pretty much ruin your B-roll shot. And this goes for when you're doing live events as well, when you're trying to blend into a crowd. By not carrying a super large camera and or wearing a full easy rig, you're gonna be able to get the most candid moments that's gonna look really awesome for your client. So when we take a look at this 25-200, it comes in significantly lighter and balances on the camera setup easily, making it not as tiring on your wrist and allows you to maneuver faster for unique angles without a bulky V-mount setup that could potentially get in your way. If you're like me and you learned from the YouTube School of Film from the mid to late 2010s, you might recall this golden rule for buying zoom lenses, which is you want to make sure you have a consistent aperture so that your exposure doesn't change as you zoom. The lower the aperture, the better. There is merit to this concept, and depending on the work you do, it's great advice. But for me, I recently realized that it was not necessarily for my type of work. When it comes to a nice, wide open, consistent aperture, bokeh blur is great, but I think it's a little bit overdone these days. I find myself realizing that I like my depth of field slightly deeper most of the time. And that's because I'm at a factory that looks really cool with a lot of machinery. I want to show it off with less blur. Now, I'm not saying you need to have like infinite depth of field, but what I am saying is you want to lessen the blur a little bit so that the viewer can grasp where the main subject actually is. Speaking of the main subject, here is another concept I feel strongly about now when it comes to close-up shots. I don't want to see just half their face in focus. I want to see all of it. When it comes to photos, having a shallow depth of field speaks very well because it's a frozen moment in time. But when you're giving an interview and their close-up looks like this, the viewer psychologically loses a little bit of that human connection because when you're speaking to a person in real life, you're gonna see their full face no matter which angle you're at. So having a deeper depth of field for your close-up is going to help with this connecting moment for talking heads. So even though this super zoom has a rather big two-stop jump from 2.8 to 5.6, the amount of bokeh you do receive until it maxes out at 5.6, which is somewhere around like the 90mm range, it's gonna be perfect for video work, whether you're doing just establishing shot or close-ups. Unless you specifically do jobs all the time where you're in very dimly lit situations, then the flexibility of the 35-150 is gonna be worth the money. Now, if you find yourself in a slight pickle with the 25-200 as far as exposure goes, well, if you're shooting with any sort of modern full-frame Sony cameras, then you're gonna be fine getting a pretty good image going up a stop or two past base ISO. And in some cases, the cameras even have a dual stage ISO, so simply just shoot at the higher ISO, use a ND filter if you need to, and that should compensate you just fine. Or if you're old school, just use a video light to help you get better exposure and also craft a better looking image. Having this massive 8x optical zoom in one lens is pretty awesome when you think about it. When you compare the extra amount of focal length you get, especially on the wide angle end against the 35-150, you basically just need one lens in your kit and you can call it a day. The last thing that this super zoom excels in actually comes from a recent firmware update as of mid-2026. They've expanded the capabilities of close focusing all the way up to 50mm, giving you some really good macro shots compared to the original firmware. Now, when you're comparing the same close focus shots at the same focal lengths against the 35-150, it's not even close. The super zoom definitely wins out. So if you're like me and you do some product reviews on YouTube, this close focusing comes in clutch so that you don't have to use any sort of diopters or extension tubes to get some close-up product shots. So who is this lens for? If you're planning to do videos in studio settings like this, where you are lighting your subjects or you're out and about in decently good lighting conditions, this could very well be the first and only lens that you need to serve you for years to come. Its versatile and massive zoom range hits all the highlight focal lengths that you need for video work. It's small, it's light for long run and gun sessions. The linear ring focus ability is great if you want to do some predictable focus pulls for creative shots. And last but not least, this lens is nearly half the price of the 35-150. But if you're still feeling stuck between the two because you want a lighter, smaller, and cheaper lens, but you also want the benefits of a wider and consistent aperture, then you are a prime candidate for these f4 constant zooms. They generally come in 35% lighter than their 2.8 counterparts, and they come in up to 50% cheaper depending on the brand. Did you learn something? I hope so. If you want to do some more learning, check out this video right here.